Trev, the next game of the day, 7:37 p.m. We will be live streaming with Chris Rose. The smack talk has already begun. The Cleveland Guardians come to the Bronx and play the New York Yankees. These teams have a little bit of recent history. These teams have the semi-recent history. You were talking about, that 90s feel, that young, talented Cleveland team that ran into the Yankees dynasty of sorts. In recent years, Kluber, Jose Ramirez, they played a DS, big DD games, got the Yankees through that. The baby Guardians come to town running high after, taking care of what they needed to against the Rays. As the Yankees, one of the dominant starts to this season, people were talking about 116 wins. That fell out of rate. They had one of the worst Augusts in franchise history. And then they got it back going in September again as their players began to come back and be healthy. Aaron Judge with a historic season. In game one, we will have Garrett Cole. Going against Cal Quantrill, I believe, for the Guardians, as they used Bieber and McKenzie, their horses in the wild card. So with that, Trev, a beautiful, crisp autumn night in the Bronx. It doesn't get any better.
Have they set the rotation yet? Are we going Quantrill to Bieber to McKenzie? Because you could go Bieber on a one-day short rest. All these things are happening.
Nothing's official, but the word is Quantrill.
Only thing I've heard was is people are expecting Quantrill
until there's Guardians funny business. Which, hey, bring me all the playoff funny business you got. That goes to any team.
6 1/3 innings pitched, 3 earned runs for Quantrill against the Yankees in his only start against them. McKenzie had a fabulous outing against them, and Bieber has not faced the Yankees. So you can't draw too much there other than the Guardians won't be scared because I think they can rely on some of that pitching too. This is going to be an excellent matchup, aesthetically pleasing. I think this is also high for me. I think I gave 8.5 to the Mariners Astros. I like
these are good.
The difference in colors. This is just a classic.
Yeah.
This is just, I'm going to give it a 9. When I think about, hold on. I'm going to take it back a little bit. I'm going to give it an 8. So I don't think the Guardians have the same feel as the Tribe did. Like, I'm taking it back because the Guardians unis took a step back. I'm sorry. Just that is what it is, my people. So I'll give it an 8 because I still think it's aesthetically pleasing and it is classic. A classic matchup.
Something about
This is the one series, Jake, that I am contemplating taking the Guardians in. And unless you can convince me otherwise, I think that's the way I'm going to lead. I think they're the Cinderella story. Now, I don't know when the ball's going to drop or the shoe's going to fall. What do they call that? The pumpkin's going to turn back into a pumpkin.
You don't know when Cinderella's balls are going to drop.
But this team, man, they're fighting. I know the offense wasn't really there, but I think that over a 5-game series, there's like less pressure on it. So I think we'll see some more runs scored. These are two completely different teams, and I really, really like that for a baseball series. Can the Guardians starting pitchers keep the ball in the ballpark? Can you neutralize Aaron Judge in some way? If you can do those two things, I think you got a chance, man. Your pitching's really good. The bullpen has been absolutely lights out.
Yeah.
So if you get some sort of a lead, you can shorten the game really quickly. And that has been a recipe for success for AL Central teams. I always reference the Royals in 14 and 15 because I saw a lot of them. This Guardians team reminds me of them a lot because they got horses in the outfield. They can get to every ball. So when you're a hitter and you put one in the gap and it gets run down, like we saw Miles Straw do that, I think it was in the second game. Like, that is deflating, dude.
Yeah.
And then you start to say, well, what am I supposed to do? I got to hit it over them then. Then you start doing some different things mechanically. I think that could be a factor. But yeah, man, you got to convince me to take the Yanks here.
No, that was nice. I mean, left field, center field at Yankee Stadium. I mean, that's still a valley. And Miles Straw and Stephen Kwan. That's That's a
They're
really
gonna go
nice,
get it, man.
That's a really nice combo with the short porch and right. Here's what I'll say: the Yankees, I believe their starting pitching is the best it's been heading into the playoffs in a long time. Garrett Cole at the top. Hey, Garrett Cole, this is why you get paid all that money. You better be Garrett Cole. He's been giving up the gopher ball. We've talked about the importance of that, so watch out for that. Be weary. If Garrett gets clipped a couple times, that's too many times in a playoff series, in a playoff game.
I mean, that's not their thing, though. That's the only.
Right. But, Jose Ramirez, it's his thing. Oscar Gonzalez, he just ended a series with one. One of those dudes runs into one, and it can change a game. So that's what you're watching there. Love Nestor. Let's see postseason Nestor and what that feels like. I'll tell you what, I bet it's electric. And then Luis Severino will be pitching game 3 on the road. Go back to some of those Yankee teams. He was supposed to be the 1. He's now the 3. I love a road start for him. I think he thrives on being the bad guy. Those friendly Midwest Guardian fans giving him hell. I think he's going to want to shut them up with some power changeups and some power sliders. I think this Yankees rotation is stronger than it's been going into the playoff series. That being said, their bullpen may be the weakest it's been going into a playoff series. Clay Holmes just had a second phantom IL of sorts. Let's see if they deploy him at all. Jonathan Loaizaga is a king of soft contact. Those Guardians are contact guys. Could that lead to a devastating 8th inning? I don't know. Sweet Lou Trevino has been pitching big innings for them. Wandy Peralta. It's not your normal guys. Go back to some past Yankee teams. Aroldis Chapman ain't going to be on the team. They announced that. Zach Britton is not on the team. He tried to come back. He did not. Those guys are have some of the all-time relief pitcher seasons in baseball history. Chad Green, who was their weapon for years, he's out. So this Yankees bullpen is going to have a different feel to it, which, like we said, in a short playoff series, you can snap and it doesn't matter. If guys execute their pitches and it's done, you're good, you're home, you forget about it. Couple bad outings, and that bullpen, it becomes a scary place to make the phone call. So that's my fear with the Yankees. I think that's most Yankee fans' fears. I think they know they're going to get enough from the top of the lineup. I mean, between Judge, Rizzo, if Stanton has clicked, I mean, hello. Oswaldo Cabrera, go check out his numbers the past 3 weeks. He is locked in. And then who will contribute from the bottom of the lineup? And you've got guys that can contribute. Josh Donaldson, can he find it? Yeah. He's got an MVP in the bag. It hasn't been there this year, but he will be there. And what will we see from a guy like Matt Carpenter, who, when we saw him this year, he had the best 100 at-bats in the majors. Better than Aaron Judge. Better than Yordan. Is he going to be a pinch hitter extraordinaire? It seems like it. What can he do in 2 pinch hit at-bats? That's a really hard ask. That's an impossible ask. But I don't know. That guy also has something special going through him this year that I'm interested to see. So the Guardians aren't going to go down easy. It's how their team is wired. Like you said, with contact, with speed, with defense, with pitching, which is kind of what their franchise has been built on. They're not an easy out by any means. But it's how much of the Yankees will show up. Like if Stanton and Judge are locked in, man.
No offense, but I think the Guardians are kind of an easy out right now. I mean, 13 hits, 3 runs, and 24 innings in that series. Wow. I know it's 2 games.
You're going to end up on their Twitter now.
No, but listen to me. Look, I think the pitching's a wash. Starting pitching's a wash. I think you could make that argument. Both teams are in a pretty good position with their starting pitching. The bullpen, as you just described, I think you got to go Cleveland's way and probably by a lot. And they got some guys they really rely on out of there. Some guys that have, Clase is in a world of his own. I know he struggled a little bit against the Yankees this year. I don't think that really matters. I think he gets the job done. They have guys they trust back there. You just explained all the reasons why Yankee fans should be concerned about the Yankees bullpen. The lineup is a completely different story. This is all Yankees here. You have a guy, Aaron Judge, who had one of the best offensive seasons of all time, anchoring it, and a bunch of guys around him that can really, really do damage. So that's the series for me. Can you keep the Guardians from having some timely hits? what's funny to think about, we talk about contact rate and all this shit with the Guardians. The only runs they scored in that series were 2 homers. Or the 2 guys that you mentioned. So it's going to be interesting. Like, if the Guardians bats show up like that again and they're reliant on some homers, I don't think it's going to work out for them. I think they do need to string together some hits. I think they need to make the Yankees make some defensive miscues, put the pressure on. They need to be the Guardians. They weren't really the Guardians in that first series, save for the time where they got bases loaded and Adams struck out Ramirez and got Naylor to hit into a double play. I mean, that was very Guardians-ish right there, but it didn't end up working out. So I think that's going to be what we look for. I mean, if Judge goes out and has a big series, I don't think the Guardians offense can keep up with that. But if they can somehow neutralize them and then, be themselves and get guys on base, and I think that's the game they have to play. Like I talked about, their identity is they have one. And if they play to that, that's their chance to win.
And maybe, again, not to be rude to Cleveland, a lot of young players. Like, let's see what you got. Josh Naylor, he tortured the Yankees in a brief playoff stint earlier. Like, someone's going to step up. But I guess when you're eyeing that lineup and you say, who can ruin a series? Jose Ramirez, obviously. On the Yankees side,
that's about it.
Judge, Stanton. I mean, Anthony Rizzo. You think we can't be walking away saying that guy had a 2-homer, 6 ribby series? Like that, the Yankees have more dudes. Let's see how much the Cleveland pitching can neutralize it. And by the way, we've got 3 divisional series going: Phillies, Braves, Seattle, Houston, San Diego, LA. There's a little bad blood here. The Guardians, Miles Straw, if you guys remember that incident this year, Miles Straw got into it with the left field bleachers, and then the right field bleachers used the outfield as a recycling can for a little bit. And we've thought about we thought about the Jays in Seattle as the up-and-coming AL powers. How do you guys think Cleveland sees themselves in the mirrors? The youngest team that just won the AL Central? These dudes are trying to announce themselves on the scene. So Josh Naylor is going to be running hot. Like that, they are going to feed off that Bronx crowd as much as the Yankees do. So it's just a matter of when those playoff moments happen, do the knees start shaking, or does not Josh Naylor want to shut him up? And I wouldn't bet against him. Some of the other guys, maybe. He's nails. How about that, Trev?
I'll give you that point. I believe this atmosphere, obviously they were at home for the first one against the Rays. Going into Yankee Stadium and doing it is different.
Yeah.
You can feel pretty comfortable in that wild card series, even though it's the playoffs. I mean, you're playing these day games, like in front of your home crowd. Like it kind of set up for them to get that victory. If you're talking about, time of day and, being comfortable at home, going into Yankee Stadium and dealing with everything that New York has to offer. It's not just the stadium. It's a different feel when you go into New York. I'm sorry. It's just, that is the way it is. You're right, man. Like, are some guys going to be nervous? Hell yeah, they're going to be nervous, dude. Like the lights are even brighter. Every series that you go on to, like they get brighter. Things get, under the microscope even closer. When was the last time you used a microscope?
I used a microscope last year when I did my position player rankings.
Oh, you had that thing where you were acting like a scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That got under people's skin.
No one like that.
A couple of my Red Sox fans still did not like where I had Rafael Devers. Yankees in 4.
I think this is the one. You didn't convince me enough.
Do it.
I think the game plan for the Guardians is to walk Judge, and hopefully nobody else beats you. You can't let that guy win. I think that's obvious. I think Tito understands that. I'm going to say Guardians in 5.
Okay. Happy for you.
There's going to be one team, bro. I can't sit here and pick every favorite. That just doesn't happen, man. I think this is the one team. I keep saying they have an identity, play to the identity, and crazy things can happen.
Little wild card in this series could be Jamison Tyone, by the way. Watch out. Yankees had some interesting quotes about him with some of their playoff stuff. He could be a swing guy. They said he might close games. He could
that. I was thinking about that. What are you going to do with him? Can he be one of those guys?
He could also start game 4. I would love – he seems like a guy on the road in game 4. I've kind of backed myself into that stance on talking Yanks.
He has a sneaky bigger history of like big game performances than you'd think, like a regular season. But
that guy's been through shit in life that's bigger than baseball.
Real
So him in a big moment, I don't mind him. We will see. We will see what the pesky guards, again, come stream with us. We're going to be having a lot of fun with that Guardians-Yankees series. So 7:37 p.m. Tuesday night.
Baseball.